One sentence. One sentence that doesn't yell, doesn't insult, doesn't explain, and yet it makes the narcissist freeze. Not because it's cruel, but because it's true. Carl Jung didn't just give us tools to survive manipulation, he gave us insight so piercing, it dismantles the illusion without raising your voice. This sentence is a mirror, and for the narcissist, nothing is more terrifying than being truly seen. Let's begin. You've been here before, the argument that goes in circles, the apology that never comes. The moment you express your feelings, and suddenly, you're the villain. They raise their voice, twist your words, act like your pain is an inconvenience. Then they go quiet, withdraw love, punish you with distance. It's not just confusing, it's crazy-making. You start second-guessing your memory, doubting your tone, questioning if you were ever lovable to begin with. And that's exactly how they like it. This isn't just difficult behavior, it's a pattern, a psychological game. Carl Jung called it shadow projection, when someone unconsciously dumps the rejected parts of themselves onto others. They can't face their own shame, so they make you feel ashamed. They can't sit with their guilt, so they make you feel guilty. They can't process their emptiness, so they suck energy from you to fill it. And when you react, when you try to set a boundary, when you say, "That hurt me," they flip the script. Now you're the abuser. You're attacking them. You're too sensitive. This is gaslighting, and it works. Until it doesn't. The narcissist isn't afraid of your anger. They feed off it. It gives them control, a hook to pull you back in. They're not afraid of your tears either. They see emotion as weakness, something to exploit or mock. But what they fear is your detachment, your calm clarity, your refusal to explain yourself anymore. And most of all, they fear the moment you say this. That's your story, not mine. 7 words. That's all it takes. Let's break it down. That's your story, not mine. You're not arguing, you're not defending, you're not justifying. You're stepping outside the frame they built and refusing to play the role they assigned you. You're saying, you can call me selfish, you can call me ungrateful, you can rewrite the entire history of this relationship, but I don't accept the script. And in that moment, you take back authorship of your identity. You reclaim the pen, you reclaim the mirror, you reclaim you. Jung believed the unconscious isn't just personal, it's collective. And narcissists operate from a deeply wounded unconscious space. They've built an entire false self around never being wrong, never being vulnerable, never being seen as less than. But deep down, they're terrified of the truth, because truth shatters illusions, and their entire identity is an illusion. So when you calmly reflect that truth, when you say, "That's your story, not mine," you collapse the fantasy. You force them to sit, for just a moment, with the emptiness they've been running from their entire life. And that is unbearable. Let's be clear. This sentence doesn't change them. It changes you, because manipulation only works when you believe the narrative, when you doubt yourself, when you engage in the emotional tug-of-war, when you make their opinion more real than your own. But this sentence severs the cord. It says, you don't get to define me anymore. I'm not playing the villain in your unfinished story. You can project all you want. I'm not absorbing it. That's power, not aggressive, not loud, not violent, but unshakable. Jung wrote, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Narcissists don't just avoid the soul, they've exiled it. In its place, they build an ego so fragile it must be constantly fed through praise, control, conflict. They need you to believe you're the problem because that keeps them feeling like the solution. And when you stop playing along, they panic, they rage, they sulk, they love bomb, they disappear. It's not your fault. It's their system collapsing. Don't go back to fix it. Here's what might happen after you say the sentence, "That's your story, not mine." They may laugh, dismiss you, call you names. It's all defense. They may try to bait you with old wounds. Funny how you're suddenly spiritual now. You used to be the crazy one. Typical victim. It's noise. They may even go quiet. Disappearing into passive-aggressive silence, waiting for you to chase, apologize, or crack. Let them. Because silence isn't always weakness. Sometimes it's a test of whether you'll collapse your truth to restore their comfort. Pass the test. Stay rooted. But how do you get there? How do you become the kind of person who can say that sentence and mean it? It starts with individuation. Jung's ultimate goal for the human psyche. Not people-pleasing, not role-playing, not self-sacrifice. Individuation is the journey back to the self, the real you, underneath all the projections. It's shadow work, it's inner child healing, it's radical self-honesty. It's saying, I'm done molding myself into what makes others comfortable. I'm done abandoning my own knowing. I'm done playing small just to keep the peace. Because there's no peace in self-abandonment, only quiet pain. When you say, that's your story, not mine, you're not just responding to the narcissist. You're responding to your past self, the one who took the blame, the one who stayed silent, the one who shrank. You're telling them, we're not doing that anymore. We're not fusing our worth with their opinion. We're not negotiating our reality. You become the protector you never had. And that is healing. This doesn't mean the pain vanishes. It means it transforms. You might still grieve, still miss them, still feel doubt. That's okay. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a spiral. But now, you're spiraling upward. Because every time you reaffirm your truth, every time you say the sentence in your head or out loud, you strengthen yourself. And in Jungian psychology, the self is not the ego, it's your soul, the part of you that remembers who you are before the world told you otherwise. This journey changes how you speak, how you relate, how you see. You'll notice manipulation faster, sense projection quicker, feel when something is off and trust it, and you'll stop needing everyone to like you, because your worth won't depend on it. That's what Jung meant by integration, not perfection, but wholeness, including your fear, including your anger, including your power, especially your power. Now let's get practical. Here are a few phrases that carry the same energy as, that's your story, not mine. Use them when you need. I hear what you're saying, and I don't agree. That's your perception. I don't share it. We remember this differently, and that's okay. I'm not available for this kind of conversation. I'm not taking that on. You're entitled to your feelings, and I'm entitled to my boundaries. Let's not confuse your guilt with my clarity. Each one is a door closing, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. And here's a deeper one. If you're strong enough to say it, if your love depends on me denying my truth, it's not love. Say that, and watch what happens. You'll see who's real, and who was only there for control, and that's a gift, even if it hurts. Because what's real can handle truth. What's real won't run from your depth. What's real won't make you choose between connection and selfhood. Let's go spiritual for a moment. Jung believed in the reality of the soul. He saw psychological work as a sacred path, one that leads us not just to healing, but to meaning. He once wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens." That sentence you say to the narcissist, it's not just a rejection, it's a signal, a flare in the dark saying, I've awakened, and I will no longer betray myself to stay connected. It's sacred, it's initiatory, it's your rebirth. And here's the truth. Once you awaken, you don't go back. You might wobble, you might revisit the old pattern, but it will never fit the same. Because once you taste truth, everything fake becomes unbearable. Once you feel your worth, every insult lands hollow. And once you say, "That's your story, not mine," it echoes in every room you walk into. So here's how we end this. They may never apologize, never reflect, never change. But that doesn't matter, because you did. You saw through it. You stepped back. You chose self over survival. You don't need revenge. You need peace. And it begins with one clear, grounded sentence. That's your story, not mine. If this spoke to you, if it woke something in your chest, comment truth below. And subscribe for more Carl Jung inspired insight every week. You are not broken. You are becoming. And your clarity will set you free.